Howdy ho, YouTube. Jon-Luke VGC here. LAIC has just finished at time of release for this video, well, hopefully, or it's about to finish, or you just stopped watching it. Either way, you probably don't want to watch more battle vids. So today, we are going to go ahead and rank the Regulation F legal Pokemon that I saw were above 1% usage last time Regulation F came around. Basically, all I did is I went to Pikalytics, which is a website right here. I went to Reg F Best of 3, and then I just grabbed all the Pokemon that are above 1% usage. So there are some surprising picks on here, and there are some surprising picks that are not on here. So we're just gonna discuss each one really briefly, put it in the tier list, kind of give you an idea of what Regulation F is going to look like, what you can use to build, all of that kind of stuff. So I hope you're excited for it. If you do like this kind of content, please make sure to subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. I should put that in more organically at some point, but I'm bad at that. So it would be cool if you subscribed. All right, let's do this. Enough yapping. So this is in no particular order, just in the order that arbitrary order that the list that I found like had the Pokemon. I just removed all of the ones that were not, put them in a tier that says below 1%. They're not here for that. And there were some duplicates in here for some reason anyways, but we have 47 Pokemon. So let's take a quick look. So we have Alolan Ninetales. You don't see a super ton of Alolan Ninetales in Regulation F. It is an okay weather setter, but I don't necessarily love snow. You mainly see it on that very frustrating Articuno team that won a regional back in Reg F. I think that team is good. I think broadly though, if we're gonna look at the Pokemon individually and not like as a whole of counterparts, it's in like B or C tier. Like it's okay. Its stats are pretty meh all around the board. It's not super bulky. It's not incredibly offensive. Like you're always running like Sash or Covert Cloak or something like that. Like it's kind of predictable. And if you take away weather control, it becomes really useless. So yeah, I would say overall I'll put it high C tier to start. And it can, I think you can make an argument that it should be B tier, like low B tier, but we'll go through more Pokemon and I'm not afraid to adjust later on. So yeah, I could see a world where I go, actually this is like low B tier instead. It is kind of fast, but overall, I'm not super duper in love with it. Hisui and Arcanine is an interesting Pokemon. It is quad weak to water, which is kind of bad, and Wellspring Ogerpon is the most common Ogerpon type in the meta. So kind of doesn't have that going for it. Plus, Urshifu exists, and it resists, especially the Watersh or Urshifu Rapid Strike resists both of its stabs in rock and fire. And it takes super effective damage. Obviously, you can't Terra Grass, but then all of a sudden, you know, the Scarf set, which is super common on Urshifu, has U-turns, so that'll deal pretty substantial damage. And if you can get it unintimidated, the Surging Strikes is still gonna hurt. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay. I think it's got some niche picks. It's cool to use. I mean, obviously, you can do it with like Focus. What am I trying to say? Choice Band. So we've seen Focus Sash sometimes with Rockhead instead of Intimidate. So there are some viable sets in Reg F, but for the most part, I'm not also in love with it. I would say it's around like Ninetales, like Alolan Ninetales. I'll put it... Okay, so if we're going to put Alolan Ninetales high C, I'll slap this in B for now. I don't think it's a C tier Pokemon. I mean, offensively, Rock and Fire are still pretty good. Just defensively, they're terrible. Like, absolutely atrocious. It is a Terra Hog. You must Terra it. So just kind of keep that one in mind. Walking Wake is an interesting addition in Regulation F. Water Dragon is a really fantastic typing, but its stats leave a little bit to be desired. Hang on, let me double check its stats real quick. Can y'all see this just fine? Yes, cool. Nope. Let's see, Reg F. Let's go Walking Wake. Speed 109, yeah. Base 125 special attack's pretty solid, actually. That is not bad. But its bulk is not bad either. Okay, so maybe it's a little better in Reg F than I am anticipating it to be. Yeah, 194 is okay. Where's the last bump? Like, what could you realistically... Yeah. Yeah, it hits an okay speed tier. Like, that's actually not amazing because that's slower than Timid Lando. and all of the pawns, which isn't my favorite thing in the world. This would be special attack booster, but you could run speed booster. But then all of a sudden you're giving up a ton of damage, right? Because yeah, that's like, you see speed booster with life orb a decent amount. I've seen that before. So you could go like, yep, yeah, because they end up being the exact same stat. And then on the booster, for booster, basically, if you have the exact same stat on 2 stats, it'll take whichever one has the positive nature. So this would still give you a speed booster. This natural bulk is like, okay, I guess. And you see it with a life orb. So I could see that being pretty okay. But you basically have to run it on a Sun comp, which doesn't have Koraidon anymore, which is a little bit frustrating. So you basically have to run Torkoal. So I'd put it, I think it's, let's do here. We're going to go B tier as well, and we can again change that. I think that's fine. But for the most part, we're getting a cluster of the mids. Okay, Goldango, perfect. I'm going to slap it in A tier. I don't think it's S tier for sure, because like Chien-Pao exists, and Chien-Pao is pretty huge. You do see like Tolar Web had a really fantastic team with Terra Fairy set up Goldango, which was good. But that one also had like Dersh and a couple of other things. It's fantastic as a Flutter main counter, because especially in Reg F, at least the first time around, you did not see a ton of speed booster Flutter. It was normally special attack booster or choiced in some way, normally choice specs, obviously. This time around, though, as I have played Reg F, I have been seeing more speed booster Flutter. I think people realize the utility of bulky speed booster Flutter. Well, you know, quote unquote bulky on the physical side, Flutter main like that. So they're starting to utilize it more. So we could see that shift, like that adjustment in this round of Reg F, in which case I would actually put Goldango lower, because the whole point of it is to be a Flutter main counter. And so if you can't outspeed with like a choice scarf, that's kind of a problem. You could also go like super bulky, like, you know, like slow, whatever, and then it'd probably be okay. Like if you can spec like EV it to survive a Shadow Ball from a common speed booster Flutter spread or something like that, I think there's some viability in there. But overall, I think it's good. I mean, Ghost Steel is an incredibly good typing, but there are some like higher meta threats that give it a problem. I'm primarily also thinking about Flutterfish. You know, Chi-Yu Flutter main is a really intense combination of Pokemon in this meta, and it really kind of cooks this mon out the gate, because you're normally running like Scarf Fish with Speed Booster Flutter, because you're going to give yourself the additional damage boost via the Beads of Ruin. So I think it's still good, but I think that you'd have to build your team around some really common cores in order to see it succeed. So that's the only thing that's stopping me from putting it in S, because I do think that there are meta developments that are already starting to hard counter Goldango. But I definitely think that if you can't count this mon out, it's really, really good. It's definitely got viability still. And if you can position it right, I mean, it just like Flutter main goes bye-bye, and then you have a really good time. Chien-Pao as well, I would put in A tier. Love this thing. This is a little bit, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but Sash still, you can EV it with the Sash to mostly live Surging Strikes from Urshifu. It provides fantastic damage with some other common meta threats. Dark typing is always really good. There's some prominent fighting types for sure, but there are other things that counter it, i.e. Flutter main into Urshifu, stuff like that. So yeah, I think Chien-Pao is fantastic. Of course, it's a good Pokemon. It's personally one of my favorites. I don't think it's S tier though. I do think that its frailty makes it relatively easy to counter. If you play enough of them, you can predict how Chien-Pao players like to go about doing things. Like I know when a Chien-Pao player is going to protect like Terra and not and stuff. So there's that kind of thing. And then Urshifu still invalidates it a little bit because it can't protect in front of Urshifu, which is kind of a big problem. So, and then it struggles, but into it because both of its stabs are resisted. And so the only thing you really get is Sacred Sword, which can be a bit of an issue. But overall, I think Chien-Pao is still really fantastic. And if you position it well, it not only can deal a ton of damage itself, but it helps to enable other physical attackers on the team, like your own Urshifu, which is really, really incredible. So Ting Lu in Regulation F plays basically two different sets. Go here. So you're going to have the really annoying set and the please stop, please just put down the game set. So the annoying set would be like Assault Vest with or leftovers even if you wanted. It's normally going to run like Terra Poison, and you're going to see like Stomping Tantrum, Throat Chop is usually good on there, Ruination, and Fissure. And the reason that this combination is really strong is, first of all, with the Assault Vest, it becomes incredibly tanky. Like base 155 HP, base 125 defense. You can just like go Impish. Like you don't really, you can put a little attack investment in here if you want, but you could just go like hit the bump, you know, here, and then just bonk. You know what I mean? Bonk or something like that, or even just hit the second bump. A6, yeah. And then just slap that in there or something like that. I guess you could, in theory, go... I don't think the speed really does anything there. So something like this, like all of a sudden, look at those stats, dude. Like with the Assault Vest, it becomes insanely bulky. It is incredibly hard to get rid of. And so you combine, the big thing here is that like Ruination deals guaranteed damage. Throat Chop stops normal meta threats like Parting Shot Instant, although you're probably going to be slower, so you might want to think about investing more speed to outspeed kind of like no investment Incineroar, but that will take a relatively significant amount of investment. Just keep that one in mind. It stops, you know, Blood Moon or Saluna Hyper Voice. It stops Farigiraf Hyper Voice, like all of those kinds of sound-based moves. It becomes really, really good. So that's really massive. But the combination of Fissure and Stomping Tantrum is really strong. So basically, Stomping Tantrum is a, 65 base power move? 75 base power, 100% move, but it doubles in power if the last move failed. So basically, and Fissure is a 30% accurate Oko move that if it hits the target, it guarantee Okos the opponent. This is a really fantastic combination because if you don't really have a better spot, you can just click Fissure and then either you hit and you KO them on, and that's really cool, or you miss and the following turn you have a 150 base power Stomping Tantrum to kind of rip something with. You know what I mean? So that's why this set is like really strong. The other set you'll find, and this is the one that like, please stop, Rocky Helmet, Terra Poison. It's Sand Tomb. Yeah, it's like Sand Tomb, Ruination, Fissure, Protect. And basically what you do with this one is you bulk it out, and it's meant to sit there, click Sand Tomb, lock stuff in, and then you just rip Fissures until you hit one. You click Ruination to guarantee damage. It's really, really frustrating. Stop, please, stop. For Reg, why do you do this? But yeah, overall, it's okay. But if you can counter one of those two sets with like Taunt, or, you know, if you can just get rid of it really quickly, which is hard to do. It's really hard to get rid of quickly, but if you can like kind of burst it with damage really fast, it'll go away pretty strongly. But I would still put it like top of B tier. Reg F is kind of the last time that we saw Ting Lu be a real meta viable Pokemon. The problem is that its damage output lacks pretty strongly. I mean, it has a base 110 attack, but that's not really what you want to invest in. So that's the only thing that kind of puts it a little bit lower. Chiyu, Bink Bonk Boom, S tier. Come on, what are we doing? It enables things like Flutter Mane. Typing Fire Dark is quite good. Physically, it's a little frail, and you don't normally want to run an Incineroar with it on the team to kind of fix that. But I mean, you just slap Flutter Mane next to it, and those two together will delete basically anything that you need to. Chiyu, certainly S tier. You can run so many different sets in Regulation F. You can have choice specs with like a Terra Grass, Terra Blast if you want. You can do Terra Ghost, Choice Scarf, Terra Ghost, Choice Specs, a Sash, Terra Ghost, or Terra Grass, Terra Water. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different options. This thing, especially in Best of One, can be really, really good. So Chiyu, top tier mon, don't really need to talk about it. The only thing is I'll do a quick thing over it, is that yes, its physical defense is pretty mid. If you look here, it only has a base 80 defense, but look at that 120 special defense, and its HP isn't very good either. So basically physically you can do things to this really, really quickly, but otherwise it has like access to stab, snarls, which are really fantastic to help against like Blurse plus Farigiraf is the first thing that I think of. Like, yeah, this mon's super good. Do not sleep on Chiyu. Just remember that if you need this mon to hit a move and the move can miss, it will miss, and that's really important. Roaring Moon as well, pretty good. I think in the last bout of Reg F, it was better, but as we get the advent of more speed booster Flutter Manes, we're going to see the viability of this mon drop pretty significantly because Otherwise, before it would be like nobody was really running Speed Booster Flutter, so you could outspeed, get the Tailwind, KO Flutter with some really strong physical attack, and then kind of take the game from there. But if we're seeing all of these Icy Wind like Speed Booster Flutters, it's pretty easy with Flutter Mane to outspeed max speed Roaring Moon, which becomes quite a bit of a problem. And you want to anyways, because Speed Booster Flutter is normally running a really high amount of speed, because with the Speed Booster, it's actually easy to outspeed Adamant, Max Speed, Urshifu under Tailwind with your Speed Boosters, which is really important for Flutter Mane. So I think that before, maybe it was like, I don't think it's like C tier or anything. I think it's like low B. It's better than Walking Wake, that's for sure, in my opinion. Probably better than Arcanine, but not as good as Tinglu, I think, in this meta, just because stall stuff becomes way more prominent with like Solo Dozo and things like that. So that's kind of my thing. Okay, so this list does not actually have a separation of the Ogerpon types, but there are two separate Ogerpons that are important to put on this list. It's Ogerpon Wellspring and Ogerpon Hearthflame. So just pretend this one's blue and this one's red, okay? Cool? We all together on the same page on that one? Bet. Wellspring Ogerpon, I'm going to put squarely in A tier. The physical attackers here are okay, and you can bulk this thing out pretty well. It has okay natural bulk. But the special defense boost is really fantastic, and the change to pure water typing in Terra is incredible into some really powerful leads like GU Flutter Mane, which otherwise is a really big problem for some teams. It also offers redirection if you want to, like for Spore, for Amoonguss. Amoonguss can now touch it because thanks to Wolf, we're seeing the advent of more Sludge Bomb Amoonguss in Regulation F. But so it's bad, and then it can't really touch Amoonguss with either of its stabs, but as long as you have an answer to... Basically, if you're running Sludge Bomb on Amoonguss, you're not running any other attacking move. Normally, they're running like Rage Powder, Spore, Sludge Bomb, Protect. So if you have a Steel type on the team, Amoonguss can't touch it, like your own Goldango or something like that, which is a really big problem. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. So yes, Amoonguss hard walls it, but you can redirect Spores, and all of a sudden you have the ability to, if you have another Steel type somewhere and they bring Amoonguss for stuff and they use it to get rid of Ogerpon, then as long as you keep your Steel type alive, they have a pretty useless Pokemon in an endgame, which is really important. It's bulky, it's really good, and it can outspeed Landorus, which is like a huge meta threat in Regulation F, pretty easily. It does take a decent amount of speed investment, and you have to be Jolly, but I mean, like, you can... With the dual stab on its guaranteed Terra, it's pretty easy to kind of justify not running as much attack, because you can also run it with like Gouging Fire, Howl to get the additional boosts that you want. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. So I think Ogerpon Wellspring, fantastic, really, really good. Not quite S tier because it wants to do a lot. It's like if you think of roll compression in a single Pokemon, it is Ogerpon Wellspring. So it's kind of a little bit of a jack of all trades. So I'll put it in A. I'd put it higher than Goldango for sure, but it's placement against Chenpao I think is kind of tough. So, but overall it's good. Ogerpon Hearthflame as well is really good. Its typing fantastic, fire and grass work really well. Synergistically, you see plenty of sets. You can see like 3 attack. You can see Follow Me, like Ivy Cudgel, Wood Hammer. A lot. Now I've been seeing a lot of Swords Dance. So it's like Swords Dance, Ivy Cudgel, Wood Hammer, Ogerpon Hearthflame. You can see Focus Energy for like with Ivy Cudgel. It's almost a guaranteed crit chance, or it is a guaranteed crit chance. I can't quite remember. So it's actually really, really fantastic. Do I think that it's better than Wellspring though? Like, Wellspring has a pretty significantly higher usage rate than Hearthflame does. My question is like offensively, it works really well into like meta threats like Flutter Mane and Chenpao. It's Goldango. It's like Raging Bolt. It hard walls the Fake Out Bros. Hey, maybe it's actually like really good. It's immune to Spore, and if you Terra, I mean, you're just deleting an Amoonguss. I don't care how much defense investment you have. +1, 2-time stab. Ivy Cudgel is going to be doing some damage. There's that. Yeah, I think it's quite good. I'll put it A. I think we could see its rise here. It's definitely better than Goldango, for sure. Offensively, I think it's really good. I don't know. It's probably like, I love Wellspring, but I should be real with myself here and say that it's better than Wellspring Ogerpon, at least on the offensive side, but I do think that that's debatable. So both of these Ogerpons Just imagine them in the order that you would like them to be in, and then comment down below why I'm wrong about this one. So our Chaladon, I'm going to put pretty squarely in C tier. I think it's like fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Its typing is good. Steel Dragon's really strong, but Flutter Mane exists, and you can run like Power Herb max, but then it's 2 special attacks come at this thing, and it's like, whee! You know what I mean? Like Lando plus Flutter, Spaghetti-O, you know? You have Pelipper, okay, well now Lando just gets 100% accurate Sand Systems. Oh my golly, what is going on? And then Urshifu exists to break through, like, if you Terra defensively for some reason, and then all of a sudden Surging Strikes ignores your defense boosts. Yeah, I'm just a little, like, unimpressed at its viability. It's like a monster in Regulation H because of the lower power format, but now all of a sudden you have a bunch of things that are faster than it, that can deal a bunch of damage to it really quickly. It just becomes a really tough... It becomes tough for it to really shine. There's other mons in this regulation that you want to use the Assault Vest on. And Sturdy or Stalwart can be good, I guess, but mainly a best of 1. I'm thinking a best of 3 play. It's pretty solid to... what am I trying to say? It's pretty okay. It's easy to play around the stuff once you know the ability that it has. So I'm overall just like unimpressed by our Chaladon in this regulation, which is good. I'm tired of seeing this thing everywhere. Gouging Fire as well. My friends are gonna get probably mad at this, but I'm gonna put this. It's definitely better. Okay, I do not think these 2 Pokemon are in the same tier. And I think that Gouging Fire is better than Walking Wake, so that would mean that I need to put Walking Wake down in the C tier, and Gouging Fire in the B tier. So Gouging Fire, basically, if you're not aware, primarily does one thing, and it's Howl strats. So it sits there, it clicks Howl, 2, you know, offensive Pokemon really good. It works well with things like King Gambit, Nokidogi that can't be intimidated. The only problem is that, my issue with it is that, yes, you can, once you get a couple Howls off, it's dealing a lot of damage. But Burning Bulwark is its primary protect move, and it doesn't actually stop status moves. So you can taunt through Burning Bulwark, you can Spore, and like all of this stuff. And if you have taunt somewhere else on the team, it's okay. You do normally run this thing with Wellspring, Ogerpon, and so you can just redirect the spores away. But if they just rip Sludge Bomb or something like that, like there's pretty solid counterplay. And its 2 defensive Terras are normally Fairy and Grass, which seem good on the surface, but then it's basically always weak to Landorus, which is a really common Regulation F Pokemon, which we'll get to here in a little bit. So it's like, if you can, you know, bait out the Terra, then Lando can kind of do whatever it wants. And even if it's with a speed booster, it's like, okay, but you can still intimidate it, because if you're running the speed booster, then you don't have Clear Amulet, of these things. And there are some like Dragon Dance Flare Blitz sets, but I'm also like on those, because it's like Incin then, because you normally run like Breaking Swipe, Flare Blitz, Dragon Dance Protect or something like that, but then Incin can still do stuff, you know what I mean? It doesn't really care about you. So there's some things like there, but I don't think it's bad by any means, but I think it doesn't have a lot of it's not, you know, what am I trying to say here? It's like, when you see a Gouging Fire, you know what it's going to do. You know what I mean? There's no guessing. There's no like, oh, which set of Gouging Fire it is. There's one set. And that's what everybody uses. And so once you learn how to counterplay that, it's really easy to kind of continue that trend. Raging Bolt. So I'm going to kind of go against the grain here. I am going to put it in A tier. It is not an S tier Pokemon, but it is still really good. It's a... yeah, I'll put it there. It's like a hunk of stats. You know what I mean? It's like a wall. Like, you look at it and you're like, wow, why did they green light this? Which is good for it. It has multiple viable sets. We all know that everybody hates Calm Mind, Raging Bolt. It's there. You can do AV, you can do Booster, you can do Life Orb. Like, there's a ton of viability with this Pokemon. It's really great. The only problem that I kind of have with it is that A, Flutter Mane exists really a lot, but B, everybody has this thing on its radar. So it's gonna immediately going into Regulation F, it will get a lot of like counterplay because people like don't want to deal with it. So that's gonna be a pretty big problem for it, which I think kind of shuts it down in the meta a little bit. I think once people play it less and it comes back, it'll go. But I think this thing fluctuates between S and A tier a lot. But for me personally right now, it is good. Like, to say it's not good would be a lie. Obviously it's a really good Pokemon, but I think ultimately it it has too big of a target on its back right now, which means that it's going to get pretty hard countered by, like, everybody's going to have a Calm Mind Raging Bolt answer, and so that means any Raging Bolt's going to have an answer. I do have some preferred sets. I actually am not playing Calm Mind Raging Bolt. I don't think it's that strong right now because everybody has that target on it, but it's still a really good Pokemon. Iron Crown is, like, if you want to run Psy Spam, Iron Crown's the way to do it in Reg F. You can do a couple things with it. It has Speed Booster. You can run Special Attack Booster. You can run Calm Mind if you want. Nobody really runs like Choice Specs or anything like that. But I mean, you could, I guess, if you wanted. The only thing is that Rillaboom is insanely prominent. Chen Pao is insanely prominent. Now you're like, oh, well, Jon-Luke, you know, you can EV Tachyon Cutter to always KO Chen Pao even after Terra, which is true, but then you must run Speed Booster, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're giving up some damage, and there's a bunch of stuff right there. But I guess I should broadly say Terrain Control is really prominent. You get kind of hard-walled by opposing Psychic types, because like Tachyon Cutter can hit, but you really want to be clicking Expanding Force, you know? And you get hard-walled by Incineroar, and then people are like, well, we can run the Helping Hand, Terra Water, Terra Blast option, but that's probably solid in best of 1, but in best of 3, then and it's really easy to play around, and then like Rillaboom's just like, you know what I mean? So I think it's like okay. I don't think it's great. I can't tell you the last time I lost to one on a Reg F ladder, you know what I mean? It's just like Psy Spam. I'm not even playing Rillaboom, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which is just funny to me. But yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I think it's like fine. I'm gonna slap it like top of C tier. Like, I'm gonna be so honest. And I know some people are gonna get really mad at this, but it's just like, dog, like, it's too predictable. It's too linear an archetype. It's really easy to tell kind of exactly what you want to do. So I'm not a huge on it. Articuno. I'm gonna do everything in my power not to put this in its own tier, which is just like stop using this stupid Pokemon. But if you're not aware, Articuno exists on one team, or at least one team comp. It's the ability called Snow Veil, so all 100% accurate moves become 80% accurate. It gets the defense boost. You use Choice Specs. It's really, really bulky. It's really hard to get rid of. You can miss stuff a lot. If you're running it with Snow with the Alolan Ninetales, and you can click Aurora Veil, and it becomes really, really frustrating to KO. It's very annoying. Do it anywhere else, though. It's not a good Pokemon. So it's like it's got one particular team comp. It's only got one set, really. I've seen two. Okay, I've seen two sets. I've seen the standard Terra Ice Choice Specs with Blizzard, and then I've seen Terra Ghost. I don't know if I know what the item is on it personally. Maybe AV, because I'm still running attacking moves, but I'm not totally certain. But overall, I think it's like mid. Like, it's fine. Like, you put it on that team comp, and it's really annoying, but you take away the weather, and all of a sudden it's way worse. You know what I mean? So I can like dog on it as much as I want because I keep getting skill diffed by it. Actually, that's not true. The team I'm running now, I have beaten it now twice in a row. So hey, we're taking it, taking that Dubsky Wubsky. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's C tier. It's like fine. You know what I mean? You take it outside of that team comp, and it's not really doing anything for you, which I think is the big problem. Okay, first surprising addition to this list is Galarian Zapdos. The primary set you're always going to see with this is either Scarf or Sash. It gets Tailwind, it gets Flying and Fighting, which is really good. But it is weak to Fairies, which is unfortunate. It's weak to Electric type moves like Raging Bolt. But Thunderous Kick is really fantastic because it guaranteed lowers the defense of an opposing Pokemon. Yeah, there's a bunch of really cool things with it. You can maybe run AV, I guess. I've seen some AV sets, but for the most part, it's Sash or Scarf. I'm gonna be kind of honest. I just like don't know enough about the Pokemon to like really give you a serious ranking for it. I think it's like fine. I think Fighting is always good, but if you're gonna run a Fighting type, like just run Urshifu. But Flying, you'll notice that we don't really have many Flying types on this list. I will say 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, the next 4 are all Flying types. I'm a liar. 5, 6. Okay, maybe I lied my booty off. But we have like 6 of them. But yeah, I'm gonna put it like, I'll put it bottom of B tier. Like it's good for sure. You can run some fun sets with it. It's like I'm judging this basically on like, does it either do a nice good amount of things so that way you have to like figure out how to defeat multiple kinds of Galarian Zapdoses, or does it do one thing so insanely well that like nothing does it better than that? And it does a decent amount of stuff. So it's like, okay, it's a little better. It's higher than C tier for me, I think, personally. Dragonite, lower percentage usage than I thought. It was like less than 10% or something like that. I was like very surprised at how low Dragonite's usage was, but In Reg F, there's basically one set. It's the Choice Band, like Terra Normal E-Speed set. We are seeing the addition now of Inner Focus, Loaded Dice Scale Shot with the Gouging Fire teams. That is starting to pop up a little bit more. So they'll run like, you can't run mono dragon moves because Fluttermane is going to be everywhere. So it's like Max, Inner Focus, Scale Shot, Iron Head, Ice Spinner, Protect with Terra Steel, I think is normally what you see on those kinds of teams. So it is getting a little bit more viability because of the addition of Scale Shot and some stuff like that. I think it's still good. I'll probably put it low A tier, especially if we continue to get more interesting sets with it. I think it'll just get better and better, because then all of a sudden you actually have to think about different kinds of Dragonites and just instead of just, okay, I'm just going to put Giraffe on my team. You know what I mean? So you have to get more viability in there. And then the coverage moves on this thing is really good, plus Inner Focus. So I actually do think that Dragonite's up there with Goldango. You know what I mean? It's like, if you can position it well, it'll run away with the game, which can be really scary, but it does have a lot of threats in the meta, especially with, like, again, Fluttermane. You're gonna hear that name a lot. So yeah, I think it's actually pretty good. For some reason, Murkrow's on this list, and this is actually gonna be my first D tier mon. There's a couple of reasons. There are better Tailwind setters that are scarier, i.e. Tornadus, Whimsicott, that kind of stuff. I think when we get to higher power formats, like ones including restricted Pokemon, dark coverage like this becomes a lot more prominent, particularly because of the Calorexes. You know, Cali Ice taking buku damage from Stab, Foul Play. You can actually, I ran into multiple times Sash Murkrow with Sucker Punch for Calyrex Shadow Rider, you know what I mean? So there was those as well. I think it gets a lot of viability. When you take out those Pokemon that are huge, amazing meta threats with really bad weaknesses to Dark-type Pokemon, it becomes significantly worse. And so now it's like really relegated as a Prankster Tailwind setter, and I just think that there are better options here. You can tech some stuff on this thing for sure, but then just tech it on Whimsicott, you know what I mean? Like, Encore's amazing, and Murkrow doesn't get that. You get both weathers, I guess, with Murkrow, but it's like, just run it with Whimsicott, you know what I mean? You don't get Endeavor with Murkrow, I don't think. So overall, it's like fine. It's not actually not. It's like kind of bad, to be real with you. I think if you want to go Prankster Tailwind, there are plenty of better options than Murkrow. It just like doesn't have the power that I really want it to. And you're like, oh well, I really want to like click Brave Bird or something like that. You dog, just click Bleak Windstorm and accept that 20% of the time it misses. Okay, just hold that down. You get spread damage, man. It's totally worth it. Pelipper, one of my favorites. I love Pelipper. Let's think about this for a second. So Rain is pretty solid. Sun is there a decent amount, but Raging Bolt exists, which is kind of bad. Lando is okay. Scarfpelly, maybe. Like, how fast does Scarfpelly get? I don't... Pelipper, I want Timid, because it gets Icy Wind. 128 times 1.5 is what I need right now. One moment, please. Five is 192. Okay, so it is faster than Timid Lando. So maybe there's some Scarf shenanigans that you can kind of do with this mon. I think Rain is solid, but again, if you're gonna run a Flying type for like Flying type damage, like Tornadus exists, you know what I mean? Which is just a little bit better, and like Wide Guard is solid in this meta for sure, but I don't know. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. Being able to auto set weather is always good. Maybe I'll put it in B tier. I definitely don't think it's as good as these mons. Again, though, it could be better. It could be better, could be worse than Galarian Zapdos. I don't quite know. I mean, both of these are going to be Sash mons. These two are probably interchangeable within this tier, I'm not going to lie, but just out of bias, how much I love Pelipper, I'm going to go ahead and slap it there. Torkoal as well, pretty solid. It enables a bunch of the photosynthesis mons, like Fluttermane, you know what I mean? Raging Bolt, Woggy Wake, those guys. So it's probably better than Pelipper. And the other reason that I think it's probably better than Pelipper is something that we now have thanks to the likes of Joe Ugarte and Marco Silva. Like Overheat Eject Pack, I think is really solid. Like 90% of the time, you get this really fantastic slow pivot. stuff like that. So I would actually put it probably high B tier, probably like above these guys. I'm gonna be honest with you, which pains my soul as a Rain player, but I gotta be honest, like it's pretty good right now. I think the innovation that we got through Regulation H will make it even better to play. I mean, it's always going to be fantastic as an eruption spammer and trick room, stuff like that. So I think it's ultimately quite good. But I don't think it's like super duper good because the prevalence of Snarl in Reg F, I think, will ultimately hurt it, especially from the likes of things like, you know, AV Raging Bolt and those like AV Entei, that kind of stuff. So it becomes, it's not quite A tier, it's not quite good because the counterplay is definitely there, but it's still like, if people don't respect it enough, I think it can just run away with the game incredibly quickly, which is really frustrating. Okay, next surprise on this list, there's a few more, but like Weavile, like why? You know what I mean? Like I guess it gets fake out. Does it get? I don't think it gets knockoff though. I guess neither does Chien-Pao, so like why am I making a big deal about that? But it's like, okay, it does. Triple Axel. Yeah, I guess like ice plus dark coverage is really good, but like Chien-Pao doesn't get a good ability. I don't know, man. Why is it on this list? D tier. I'm sorry, dog. You're like frail, but not in a way that like enables anything else. You just kind of sit there, and then after I click fake out, I can just like deal like literally any damage I want into you, and then just quickly do a priority move and call it a day. You know what I mean? So that's why it's really frustrating. Heatran is interesting. Obviously, Landorus exists, which is really bad for it, but it is immune to fire-type moves. But like Urshifu exists, Terra Grass is there, but then Lando again, Sludge Bomb, stuff like that. You can probably already tell where Landorus is going to be. But I think Heatran ultimately is good, but not amazing. I definitely think it's A tier. I mean, it has a ton of viability. We have, you know, Life Orb. I think we'll see from Regulation G, where we had the Magma Storm sets, I think we'll see that pop up a little bit more in Reg F, maybe alongside those Tingaloo Dozo teams, because they like to take the joy out of life, but stuff like that, I don't know. But yeah, ultimately, it's got a few viable sets. I already said Life Orb. You can run AV if you want. Probably even Tech It to Survive and Earth Power, TBH. The only real issue here is that like Heartflame Ogerpon, if it doesn't Terra, can hit it with Fire-type moves because of Mold Breaker. Which is really bad because it can't really hit Ogerpon back super great. Like Steel type moves, I guess Fire type moves are neutral, especially if you run Life Orb. That's not too bad, but now you're taking these neutral Ivy Cudgels, which are gonna hoit. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's some innovation that could be had with Heatran. Terra Fairy also quite good with Terra Blast when you're usually running those AV sets. So I think it definitely has some viability. We saw it in Regulation G because it was a hard Koraidon answer, but Koraidon's not here, so it's like it's not serving that role anymore. So you're kind of using it as an offensive threat, and I do think that there are probably better. I mean, it does hard wall Fluttermane, which is really good, so that's something to keep in mind. But Whimsicott, definitely. If we're talking like purely best of one, S tier every day of the week, I'll put it top of A tier. So why is this little cotton ball so good? I mean, it just gets access to so many moves. Like every Whimsicott has the exact moves you need it not to have every single time. It's so frustrating. It's really fantastic. It's one of the best Tailwind setters. I prefer it over Tornadus personally. Endeavor's great. Encore to Disrupt is really fantastic. It is quad weak to poison, but it's like there's not really that many poison types in the meta. Like if you'll notice, the one poison type we're like really gonna talk about isn't even a poison type. It just gets poison type coverage. So yeah, I think ultimately it is just insanely good. One of my favorites. You can run Sash, you can run Covert Cloak. I just finished LAAC. You can run Babiri Berry. Like all of this stuff, it's so cool. Yes, Whimsicott, this cute little thing, just is an absolute menace on the Pokemon society. Amoonguss as well, obviously A tier. I think it stonks like skyrocket in Reg F. I mean, redirection with Rage Powder doesn't affect the Ogerpons, which is why I put it lower than them, but still really great. Spore is incredible. Rocky Helmet Amoonguss into Urshifu is fantastic. Terra Fairy Amoonguss, Hard Walls, Calm Mind, Raging Bolt, because normally the moveset on that is Dragon Pulse, Thunderclap, Calm Mind, and Protect. So you can just like Rage Powder, get them to waste all their Thunderclap PP, and then just Sludge Bomb them down until they get knocked out, you know? So I want to say knocked out because that's what Pokemon likes to say. So Yeah, I think ultimately Amoonguss stonks are on the rise. Definitely a viable opinion to say that it should be an S tier. I definitely think it could be, but at least for right now, it seems like the Amoonguss usage is good, but not as good. So I think as Regulation F kind of repicks up, we'll see it escalate pretty quickly. You ask me in like 2 months, it'll probably be in S tier, but at least for right now, it's solid A tier. I think it's being a little underappreciated in Reg F right now, so just try to keep that one in mind. Volcarona is fine. Not a lot of rock type moves, I'll be honest, but I think that it gets a little power crept from a lot of the meta. I mean, Water Pond is there a lot. Chen Pao, it's not very good. It can't really do much into Raging Bolt, except for Struggle Bug, but at that point, just run like your own AV Bolt with Snarl. It resists fairy types, I guess, but there is no, like, I will say there's Tornadus exists, which is a little scary, but then again, too, it's like Chi-Yu Flutter really hard for it. Yeah, I think it's probably B tier. I think it's better than Hisuian Arcanine for sure, but I don't know. I think it serves a lot of roles, so it does have viability. It can be set up, it can be, you know, disruption with Citrus Berry or Covert Cloak and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely there, and I could see it being used more since we used it in Reg G and Reg I as kind of like behind a screen setup sweeper disrupt stuff, which is really good. But I think, yeah, if you ask me in another couple of months, it could definitely probably move up to A tier. But at least for right now, I just think it's high B tier. We need to see kind of more usage of it. Tornadus, Bonk Boom, obviously high A tier. I like Whimsicott more, but probably Tornadus is more used, so I'll put it higher than Whimsicott. Tail, obviously Prankster Tailwind, really good. Bleakwind Storm is broken, you know, 80% accurate, I don't know, but hits both targets and has a chance to drop their speed. That's so good. I'm not really much of a Tailwind player. Like, I don't really use hard speed control. I play mostly balanced style stuff. With just a lot of priority on it. So the way that I use Tornadus probably unoptimal personally. Like I've done it once. I did win. I won an online tournament once with a team with Tornadus, but it's carried by some other stuff besides the Torn. But ultimately, yeah, I think it's obviously really fantastic. It gets a lot of moves. Not quite the like best of one move tech as Whimsicott is, but I mean Taunt, Scary Face, Tailwind, Bleakwind Storm. You see people run Hurricane. It gets Icy Wind, like all of this stuff. Really fantastic speed control from Torn. It's always been a staple in VGC. I'm sure that one of these two Tailwind setters should be an S tier personally, but I think they're so closely put together, and I really want to reserve S tier for the Pokemon that I think are incredibly good. Like, just indisputably going to be a top tier meta threat that you always need to be prepared for. Speaking of, Lando, Bing Bong Boom. S tier every day of the week. The reason is that, first of all, typing quite good, ground flying, has 2 immunities that help against both of its other typings. It is quad weak to ice, but again, like what do we see in ice types here? We see Chen Pao, and then we see the 2 ice types in C tier. So not super relevant. There is Icy Wind Flutter Mane, which is probably something that you'll need to be ready for, but I just envision that Terra Water on Landorus will become a lot more prominent. But you do see Terra Poison, and that's kind of the big thing. Ground plus Poison coverage is just incredibly good together. So ground is resisted by what? Grass. Poison hits that for super effective damage. Flying, well, poison hits it for neutral damage. What else? What else is ground resisted by? Wait a minute. I'm forgetting my type chart, but it hits super effective. You know, poison resisted by poison, but hits super effective by ground. It hits electric types, which is really incredible. Hits steel types, which are really fantastic right now to counter Flutter Mane for super effective damage. And if they Terra into something, you know, else, then it's there. Yeah, I think overall it's just like a really insane offensive combination. It's got so many tools. I mean, everybody's always running Sludge Bomb plus like Earth Power, but then and Protect. You can run like Sandsear Storm. You can run Nasty Plot. You can run Taunt. Like tons of utility can be slotted in for Landorus that I just think makes it incredibly strong. And then like Lando plus Torn is a really oppressive combo because you can click Tailwind, you can click Sandsear, you can click Rain Dance, you can click Sandsear, and then you can just start clicking Sandsear, you know, Bleak Wind. It is just really, really frustrating. Landorus is one of the MVPs of Regulation F. You must be ready to answer it in some capacity or it will just fly over your entire team. You must be ready for it. Sylveon is next. I was surprised a little bit of this one too, but fairy types, obviously really, really good. Being pure fairy as well helps. Its physical defense still isn't amazing, but it's okay. I'll put it higher than our Chaladon. Probably lower than the ice type duo that I hate with every fiber of my being. But it's works well under Trick Room. It can, but pure fairy typing I guess is better than Flutter Mane, but it's not quite. It's still not as physically bulky. It's insanely specially bulky, but it's like run Flutter Mane, you know. I guess like Hyper Voice for spread fairy damage is great, but got Dazzling Gleam on a base 135 special attack, which Flutter Mane is just like go stupid, you know what I'm saying? So I think like it just gets a little outclassed now. I still don't think it's a bad Pokemon, and if you like specifically want to run it for like Trick Room and stuff like that, I think it's absolutely viable. But for the most part, I think that it's kind of maybe a little past its prime. We don't even really see it in Reg H much, which is like begging for fairy types, you know? So I think that's kind of the gist from it. Hisuian Goodra, I'm going to put in C tier as well. Probably top of... It's not as good as Iron Crown, for sure. Is it as good as Walking Wake? Probably a little bit better. So Hisuian Goodra can have a couple of sets. First of all, it's a bonker special defense stat. Like, look at this thing. Goodra Hisuian, like, base 150 special defense is stupid. You know what I mean? And his defenses still aren't bad. Base 100 defense, like, you just ramp this thing, think... Like, just like that. Bam, look at that. 187 is like, okay, but like 167 defense, 170 special defense just goes so hard, dude. And then you can run like Iron Defense Body Press. It's a couple of good abilities, Sap Sipper, but most people are going to use Shell Armor, so you can't get critical hit. So you can run like Screens plus Body Press. Never have to worry about getting crit, and then just like set up and then go to town. You know what I mean? So it's so hard to get rid of. Insanely tanky. Really, really frustrating Mon. But if you stop it from setting up, or if you haze away the boosts or anything like that, it just kind of goes down really, really quickly. It's not offering too much offensive pressure against it, you know what I mean? Like, you'd have to go Terra Fighting for Body Press to really start doing stuff. It'll run Heavy Slam normally for Flutter Mane, but I mean, there are type combinations in the game that's just like super hard counter. You also have things like Sacred Sword from Chen Pao, which is really common. It just ignores those defense boosts. So yeah, it's really, it's okay, but it's like a little gimmicky. So I don't think it deserves to be much higher than that. Boop. Come on. What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, we all like VGC, right? We know Incense just disgusting. Like, right? It's one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It's so good. I don't think I need to explain why it's an S tier Pokemon. It is incredible. Rillaboom is interesting. So we all know that I'm like a Rillaboom glazer, right? Like, I love Rilla, I love Incent, all that stuff. I have tested Rillaboom a decent amount in Reg F, and I feel it is a little lackluster, I'm not gonna lie. I've not really loved Rillaboom. I loved it in Reg J and Reg I. I thought it was incredible against Miraidon. But against the Psy-Spam teams, which is really why I would bring it, I'm just kind of like, I'd just rather click Snarl, you know what I mean? Like with a strong AVmon. So it's obviously A tier, but I'm probably going to end up putting it like, it's definitely not as good as Amoonguss right now. And that's not, hot take, Amoonguss is better than Rillaboom in Reg F right now for sure. But it's probably better than those other Pokemon. But I mean, it's still really fantastic. You can run AV, you can run Grassy Seed, Miracle Seed to give it a boost on its grass type moves. You can run Grassy Seed if you want, like Swords Dance Acrobatics, if you're really feeling yourself. If you want to have some, kooky fun, you can do that. But yeah, it's, I tried that once, man. It was fun, but it didn't work as well as I wanted it to. Like Terra Flying, Swords Dance, Grassy Seed Acrobatics, like it's funny. Yeah, it's fine. And DD, I think, goes strictly with Iron Crown. I mean, these are the two that you're going to see together for Psy-Spam action. I think it's, like, fine. I think Terrain in general right now is, like, okay. Like, I can just, like, damage mitigation is just so easy to do in the meta that I don't really feel the need to ever get rid of the Terrain. I just kind of, like, stop things from doing a lot of damage, you know? So, I don't know. I think Psy-Spam right now is just, like, very mid. I mean, Dark types are everywhere. Like, the Ruinous Mons are there, Instants there. You have Steel types for Flutter Mane, which resist the Psychic type moves. Yeah, I'm just like like fire types are really strong. I'm just like very unimpressed with Psy Spam right now. And like, I'm not even like a Psy Spam, like, you know, kind of guy, but like right now, I just don't think it's the move. Like you can try it if you want, but it's just kind of mid. Regidrago is really interesting because Fluttermate exists, but it's cool. I like the Mon. Like I wish it was more viable. It's really fun to click Terra Dragon, you know, Dragon Flame, Dragon Energy or whatever, but its defenses are poopy, dude. Like if you've never looked at this Pokemon, you look at this thing, right? Regidrago, and you're like, oh my golly, look at that 200 base HP. It's gotta be so about 50. It's got base 50 defenses, dog. This thing is frail. Sure, its HP is like super high, but like, why does it matter? You know what I mean? So you always have to run like 3 dragon moves because Dragon's Maw like multiplies 1.5. It has like a fine special attack. Like a base 100 special attack is like okay, I guess. Like it's probably closer to bad than it is good. Like if we're gonna be honest. So you really need Dragon's Maw. You really need a damage boosting item. And so then you can like run like Terra Ground, Terra Blast, or you can run like Terra Ground Earth Power or something like that, but you're still gonna get chunked by that Moonblast dog. Like this thing, I love this Mon. I think it's so cool, but I'm pretty unimpressed. Do I put it in D tier? Do I really make y'all angry right now? Like it's just so easy to counter. But like, don't get me wrong. Like if you don't prepare for that Regidrago lead, you like lose. You know what I mean? You're a loser. But otherwise, it's just like, it's like, okay, I guess. My heart is telling me to put it into D tier, but my brain tells me it's definitely not D tier. I'll put it high C tier. But I don't know, man, dog. Like I'm unconvinced that it should be this high, but I'm gonna put it this high. Ursaluna Blood Moon. A tier for sure. A tier for sure. Obviously, A tier, very, very good. It is great with Frigiraffe. It can hit ghost types with its normal type moves. Really fantastic. We saw it really start to pop off at the end of Reg F in the when like Pow Knight was really huge. So yeah, I think that ultimately Blood Moon Ursaluna really, really good. I don't quite want to put it in S tier because there's a bunch of stuff that counters it. In particular, you know, Urshifu can break through its protect. You really want to run Terra Normal. There's ways to counter this one. It's pretty solid. If you can stop Trick Room from getting up. Okay, and Turbo Bear like exists, but then it's actually like frailer than you think it is, especially on the special side, dude. It's like, it's just, you know, Moonblast comes out and it's like, ah, you know what I mean? So I think it's obviously very good, but like, I'm not going to put it in A tier. Base Ursaluna, hot take, super slept on. This thing does stupid damage, but it's still going in A tier. I'll put it, I still think, I think Amoonguss is better than it for sure, but I think it's better than Rillaboom. I mean, Facade goes crazy. It's slower than Blood Moon Ursaluna by 2 points. So in Trick Room, if you have a min speed, they have a min speed, you're slower. And Facade does stupid damage. It's why? Why does this Pokemon exist? Why did you do this? Why is it here? You know, bad Game Freak. Bad. Don't do it again. Why is Quaquaval on this list? Dog, this is just like Urshifu at home. This is literally like generic brand Urshifu. Get in the D tier. You're better than these guys, I guess, because water fighting is still good. But like, why? I guess you get Aqua Step for speed boosts, and you get Moxie, I guess. But it's like, why do I care? Why is it here? I don't know. Somebody justify this thing to me. Why was Quaquaval above 1% usage? And it wasn't even like the last one either. It was like decent. Like it was like 5% or something like that. I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, do you just not want to use Urshifu so bad that you went, that duck? I'm going to use that duck. It's fine to use legendaries. Just use them, dog. It's still fun. When you protected my face and I go, I don't care, I smile, I chuckle. I'm an evil little man like that. It's fine. Sheesh. What are we doing? Quaquaval. Glamora. Offensive Glamora, pretty okay. With Terra Grass, it's just kind of a Terra Hog. I mean, Landorus exists, which is bad for it. Urshifu exists, which is bad for it. So you want to Terra Grass, but then of course, Landorus still hits it for super effective damage. Sludge Bomb, because that's fair and balanced Pokemon. I think it's like fine. I think Torkoal serves its role better. I'll put it like here. I think it's like solid enough. I'm not super certain. I'm not convinced on this placement for Glamora, I'm going to be honest with you, but overall, I think it's like, it's got a couple of varying sets that are all just as frustrating as the last. So I think it's perfectly fine. Okay, Dozogiri, right? We're gonna put these two together because if I separate them, Tatsugiri is gonna be way lower than solo because Tatsugiri really does not have solo play. Okay, we'll put them apart because they together, the grouping of them together is better than the two individual parts. Dozo goes with Tinglu. It does the exact same thing. It clicks Fissure, it clicks Yawn. It's really frustrating. You just make opponents quit the game because they realize that they can turn their computers off from Showdown and go outside. And that's the reason why these Pokemon are this good. Tatsugiri, straight D tier dog. Like, I guess, like you hard. Like, when is the last time you saw solo Giri? Like, seriously, never, dude. It's a bulk, terrible. Typing, good. But it's not like Glass Cannon good, you know what I mean? It's not fast enough, and its special attack is good, but it's not like so good to justify running it on its own, you know? There's other things that are faster and can kind of do the same thing. But Dozogiri together, I think in Reg F is solid. People don't really run Haze. Haze doesn't run too much in Reg F. And you can kind of hardwall, but there are some like, really, like it's still not incredible on the special side. So like, you know, a Flutter Mane, a Choice Specs Terra Fairy Moonblast from next to Chiyu from Flutter Mane, still doing like 60% to boosted Dozo dog. Like, it's stupid why they let this mon exist. It's so funny, but it's so stupid. Fridge, get in there right here, baby. A tier. This is gonna be a hot take. Fridge, so good. Fake outs everywhere. Prio is everywhere. Trick Room, really good. Go Fridge. Yes, Fridge is good. We all know what it does. It does one thing, but it does it better than anything else in the game. It is so good. It can be offensive. It can be defensive. It can be both. If you're Wolf Glick, because that man's brain is better than mine, that's for sure. It is insane. King Gambit. We're getting near the end here. As you can tell, I'm starting to get a little tired. King Gambit. I have not played with King Gambit too much, but it's a dark type, which gives it a little bit. Where'd I put Gouging Fire? King Gambit really only exists with Gouging Fire, so I feel like it needs to be lower than Gouging Fire. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay. I'm gonna put it lower than the Crown, and the reasoning for that is because, again, it runs basically one set, and you click Howl next to it. The Crown, while yes, you want to spam the Psy, you know what I mean? You can do it in multiple different ways. With King Gambit, you protect, you click Howl, and then you go to town, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's not really too much variety to it. Need I say more? Need I say anything about this? We should just make our own tier. That is, I can't actually say that. Flutter Mane, just the Flutter Mane tier. Flutter Mane is amazing, has so many different sets. It's min-maxed. Yes, physically, it's so frail that you have to specifically EV to survive. Sucker Punch from Chedpow. There's a bunch of stuff to it. But Flutter Mane is incredible. It's on so many teams. Be prepared for like 80% usage in Reg F on this thing, dog. It is such a good mon. And personally, I really love the design. I think the design's really cool. And then like the little flittles up here, you know what I mean? It's super cute. I love it. 10 out of 10. No notes. Flutter Mane's super good. Just keep using it. Iron, you can run Speed Booster, you can run Special Attack Booster, you could run Choice Specs. Someone tried to convince me to use AV Flutter, and I said, no, we're not doing that. But you could, I guess, if you like to really burn down the kitchen. You can do that, but yeah. Iron Bundle as well. So Iron Bundle is really fantastic in other formats because it's super fast, faster than Flutter, Icy Wind stuff. But then people realize you could just use Speed Booster, Icy Wind, Flutter Mane. You know what I mean? Which is so dumb. I don't even get it. Anyways, because of that, Bundle immediately drops pretty significantly. It is A tier for sure. It's not as good as Amoonguss though. Amoonguss is still better. Like, come on, dog. Like Amoonguss, I love this. I love this little mushroom. I love this little mushroom so much. Every fiber of my being. It's so good. I love it so much. No. S tier, right? Are we saying we're running this mod without an ability? Iron Hands, no ability. With an AV, sits there. Clam plus Swords Dance, just sits there. People are like, oh, Jon-Luke, it should be A tier. Nah, this thing is an S tier mon, and if you can't use Iron Hands, you just play the game bad. I'm saying it. I'm saying we're all thinking, if you can't use Iron Hands, you need to go back to the drawing board, dog. This thing is busted. Just an insanely busted Pokemon. Why did they ever do this? I don't know. You give this thing an Assault Vest, it goes stupid. It goes absolutely dummy. It is incredible. You can run Attack Booster. You can run AV with Trick Room. You can run Mid Speed. You can run some Speed. You can run Tail Room. You know what I mean? It just like, it does everything. Iron Hands is so good. And then you're like, oh, well, Flutterbane exists. It's like, okay. Non-stab, Heavy Slam, Oko's Flutterbane from this thing. What are we doing? Why aren't you using this thing? Like right now, like TBH, these 5 Pokemon would just make a really good team. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got 3 more. Baxcalibur. Why is this here? Okay, Ice type coverage is good, I guess. And its ability is solid, but Steel types and Fairy types are everywhere. It's like fast, but not so fast. It's got really incredible bulk. It's got a wall of stats every day of the week, but I don't know, man. I am maybe less convinced on Bax in this format than I think others are. It's definitely worse than Dragonite. Like if I'm picking a Dragon type, I'll put it B tier. It's worse than y'all, but probably better than you guys. We'll say something like this. This B tier, I think, could use some serious readjustment, but we're gonna leave it as is. And then we got the band, the myth, the legends. Why play with this? We'll do this. Okay. Obviously, Urshifu Rapid Strike is an S tier Pokemon. So good. Breaking through Sash and all these things. Like, literally, these 6 Pokemon are just like a team dog. What the heck? Except for the Chi-Yu plus the Instant. Maybe you want to swap something out there, but I'd probably just put Torn there instead of Instant, because you have Fake Out. Yeah, and you have Pivot already, so that's a really good team. But yeah, I mean, breaks through Sash, Rapid Strike, you can give it Scarf, it can outspeed whatever it needs to, Terra Water, especially defense is special defense kind of poopy, but you can do it. You're seeing like Terra Steel pop up a lot, you're seeing Terra Grass pop up, people still do Terra Water. And then Dersh is really good, but it basically runs one set. It's the Terra Dark Sash set. You have to run that. That is the only thing you got, because otherwise it does. But defense, like, it just works really well into the meta, I think. In particular, Reg F. Anything else, I drop it pretty significantly. But in Reg F in particular, it becomes far better than it ever has been and ever will be again, which is just incredibly cool for it. So that is the list. This is, I believe it was, what, 47 Pokemon? The title will tell, but it's 47 Pokemon. Regulation F. Use these. You can use these if you want. They can be used well, but I guess maybe my biggest like takeaway from this list would be S and A. Just use them. They're good. You're gonna win games if you use these Pokemon. B, they're viable as long as you know you want to run the strategies that are associated directly with them. There's not too much more flexibility outside of that, but if you're like, man, I really want to run a Howl, they're just as good as the S and A. C, I think, are Pokemon that can be good but are piloted, but are carried entirely by player skill. These Pokemon can be good, you can use them effectively, and they can go really far, but the person using the Pokemon must be good at the game. If you just pick these Mons up, you will not perform well, and that's just something you gotta be okay with. And then D, just like, don't use these Mons. Like, why are they here? Tatsugiri alone. If we're talking Dozogiri, all the way up, but otherwise, like, just don't. I don't understand why they're on this list. You can think I'm wrong, be like, Weavile's so cool, and which I would say, yes, it's actually probably one of my favorite shinies in the entire game, but I don't think it's great for Regulation F. So, all right, that's an hour of me yapping. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was a relaxing time for you after LAIC, and that it was educational for you. If you have any questions about any of these mons, feel free to comment down below and I will answer them as I see them. But thank you all so much for watching. Again, the call to action should be one thing, so please, if you could, just subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a ton. It shows me that y'all like this kind of content. It shows that I can put more resources into the channel, continue to make it even better. Yeah, it would just really be wonderful. So thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, but most importantly, please remember that you are appreciated. All right, peace.